Hey everyone, welcome back to the R Stories. I know many of you use these videos to unwind and drift off to sleep, and I'm so glad to be part of a nighttime routine. Before you settle in, I'd love to hear where you're listening from. Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you're enjoying the episodes, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel. Now relax, get comfortable, and let's begin. Next story. Am I the asshole? My wife got her boobs out on a night out. My friend told me. I said I do not care. It is causing a lot of drama. My wife, 41 female, was on a night out with friends and ended up bumping into a few of my friends while out. They stayed together most of the night, and at one point, they were in the smoking area at the back of a bar and got talking to a couple younger women. One of them mentioned wanting to get her nipples pierced, but was scared of the long-term damage. My wife then said, "I've had mine done for 25 years, and there is no damage to them. Do you want to see?" The other woman said yes. So my wife turned her back to the crowd behind her so only those around her could see and pulled her top down for what she said, and my friends confirmed, was about 30 seconds. The other woman asked if she could feel them, and my wife said yes. After that, the other woman said she could see and feel there was no damage, and now she is convinced. The next morning, my friend messaged me to tell me what happened. I said I know. My wife told me. He then said she obviously did not tell me the full story because I would be more mad, and then proceeded to tell me the exact same story that my wife told me, laughing out loud. I said I appreciated him looking out for me, but I'm not mad, and I do not really care. Since then, I have had all sorts of messages from friends. Some are telling me I need to leave her. Some are telling me not to listen to others, and they cannot believe all the fuss. Even a couple of friends have said things along the lines of, "If you let your wife get away with this, it will encourage my wife to behave like this, like I should punish her or something." It came to a bit of a head yesterday, as a few of us play for the same Sunday league football side. A couple of my friends were joking about it, and one of them said, "If I go tell her I want my nipples pierced, will she show me?" And I laughed and said, "No harm in asking." Then one of my other friends said, "She probably will, the slag," and I lost it and went for him. We got pulled apart, but since then, tensions have been quite high, with most people supporting me, but a few saying it is my fault for not seeing the truth and not seeing how bad the situation is. I genuinely do not know what else I could have done differently here. I'm not bothered about it. I really am not, and I do not need people to be offended on my behalf. When we go on holiday, she will be topless all day at the beach where hundreds of people can see her. I cannot believe all the fuss about some nipple piercings. So, am I the asshole for not caring that my wife got her boobs out on a night out? Commenter 1. Your wife showed a piercing, not committed a crime, and your so-called friends are acting like the morality police. If their marriages are so fragile that your wife's free spirit is a threat, that is a them problem, not yours. Opie, thank you. I'm glad I'm not going crazy. If your friends are calling her a slag and other names to your face, they're saying much worse when you're not around. Good on you for standing up for your wife, but you need new friends or friends that at least respect you and your wife. I second this opinion. Your wife did nothing wrong, and it is not anybody else's business to have an opinion on how she behaves. Honestly, if these so-called friends are calling your wife slurs in front of you, they are not your friends or worth the breath it takes to tell them to shut their dirty mouths or scrub their dirty minds clean. I am proud of you for standing up for your wife. Many lesser, more insecure men would have caved to the peer pressure. Commenter 2. Not the asshole. You need new friends. Normal people would recognize that women actually let each other see their breasts all the time for a lot of reasons, and it is pretty normal. If they're making these kinds of comments, then they have never had any respect for her. And this is just an incident that has let the curtain fall on that. That is a really good point. My friend and I went away for the weekend, and she wanted a bra fitting. It was taking ages to find the right fit, and I think she felt bad I was sitting outside on my own, so she asked me to join her in the cubicle. We chatted about where to go for lunch, etc., while the salesperson kept bringing in bras to try on. Girls do see other girls' boobs, and it really is not anything to get upset about. Thank goodness the original poster is not like some of his friends. Yeah, if I see a guy's dick in a shower after golf, my girlfriend is not going to break up with me. I've had a lot of "is this infected" scenarios as well. Hearing things like this just further reaffirms that men really need to band together and agree that it is okay to seek both mental health and medical attention. It is okay to ask for help from those who are qualified. It is also okay to cry. You're not a pussy for showing emotion. Opie, it is really weird. I do not know where this has come from. They have never been like this before about her or other women. Some of them have even been away with us before when my wife and their wives and girlfriends all went topless too. It is not even like they have not seen my wife's tits before, laughing out loud. Commenter 3. Not the asshole. It is not like she was showing them in a way to be sexual. She was showing her piercings to someone who has contemplated getting the same piercing. Yeah, context matters. Showing a piercing is not the same as showing off in a sexual way. And even if that is something the original poster and his wife are both comfortable with, it is not anyone's business but theirs. Indeed, but some people just have absolutely no sense of boundaries. This matter is entirely the original poster's family business and has nothing to do with his friends. So what are they getting so worked up about? Opie. Yeah. She was in the corner of an outside area of a bar with her back to the crowd. Only those in the direct vicinity would have known what was happening. Commenter 4. Any of your friends that are trying to tell you to keep your wife under control or whatever do not deserve to be your friends. I agree with this. Also, any friends who are calling his wife insulting names should not be his friends anymore. Yeah, it is the guys who think he has some ability to keep her under control. That is just what insecure men say, who think their wives are not equals. The original poster and his wife are partners, so there is no control to be placed under. And as for the one who called her a slag, he deserved what he got. I could not agree more. Isn't this the most basic principle of being a friend? I think the original poster's friends are kind of jerks. Commenter 5. Not the asshole. You found out 3 important things. You have chosen friends who view women as property. You have failed to control your property in a way they expect you to control her. Your wife is now in danger around your friends. Also, as an old lady who has seen this play out over many friend groups of men through the years, I can guarantee you that at least one of your friends is now spanking it while imagining giving your wife the discipline he thinks you will not. And if you keep allowing these men access to your wife, one of them will eventually cross the line and harass or hurt her because she deserves it. Commenter 6. You are in the right here. Your friends are just insecure that you being okay with this is going to lead to their wives doing something like this. It is good you do not see any harm in this, because there is not. She was showing a few people and with good intentions, not to cheat or whatever bad intention these friends of yours think she had. You are a good husband, and from what it seems, you are both confident in your wife and yourself, which is great. Quite frankly, you should drop those friends, definitely the one who called her a slag, and those who are saying, would she show me if I asked? They're basically calling her easy and telling you in a discreet way that your wife would give it up or show anybody. Or they secretly have been wanting the original poster's wife all along. Knock on wood. But if the original poster and his wife were to split up now, those of his friends would be lined up to talk to her while also pretending to be good friends to the original poster. Opie agreed, and it has kind of opened my eyes a bit to how badly they would react if their wives did the same. I did not see any harm in it at all. The 2 women she was talking to could see, and 3 of my friends could see. Big deal. Someone saw her boobs. Next story. Am I the asshole for refusing to share my college dorm room with my older sister and her baby? I, 19, female, am in my first year of college and live in a small dorm room on campus. My sister, 26, female, had a baby a few months ago, and she has been struggling financially. She and the baby's father broke up, and she had to move back in with our parents. The problem is, she hates living there because our parents are too controlling and judgmental about her being a single mom. She asked if I could request permission for her to stay in my dorm with her baby for a while, because it would be quieter and give her space to figure things out. I told her no. My dorm is tiny, barely big enough for me, and I have a roommate. Plus, a baby crying all night in a shared dorm? That is not fair to my roommate or me. She got upset and said I was being selfish, that families should help each other, and that she would do it for me if the roles were reversed. Now, my parents are also pressuring me to just let her stay for a little while because she is struggling. My roommate thinks the whole situation is crazy and that I should not feel bad, but I'm starting to wonder if I'm being a bad sister. Am I the asshole? Edit. I spoke to the dorm in charge and was told it would not be allowed at all. I informed my parents and sister about it, but my sister is still upset and says I should have been more open to the idea and that I should not have denied her for my selfish reasons before asking for permission. Commenter 1. Not the asshole. As you stated, a crying baby is not fair or quiet for anyone. How loud can your parents' house be that she needs to get away? It is not about volume. It is that she does not want to listen to mom and dad tell her they are disappointed in her choices. My guess is your campus will have a firm no as an answer to this. So, I actually do encourage you to reach out to them to ask what the policy is on non-students living on campus / in a dorm room that is already at capacity. If, as I suspect, it is a clear not allowed, print that out and hand it to both her and your parents. Editing to add. Your sister would 100% use this as an excuse to use you as free labor to take care of her child. This is a time when you should be focusing on schoolwork and living the college life, not taking care of someone else's baby. Agree completely that the original poster should absolutely ask the resident advisor and/or housing department about this. Unauthorized visitors will get the original poster kicked out, so having it in writing should help shift the blame from the original poster to the university. Not to mention, there is a roommate. Back in my day, dorm rooms were one room with 2 beds, a place for their clothes, and 2 desks. Where would you fit another adult person and a baby? Also, colleges and universities are usually not big on non-students living in their dorms. If I was paying for my child to live on campus, not a cheap option at any school these days, and a non-student moved in with a baby, I would be on the phone to complain to the university so fast that big sister's head would spin. It is just not an option. Original poster. Get your roommate's parents to call your parents and ask how much of your roommate's room and board they will be covering. I bet that will shut this idea down fast. I cannot imagine any on-campus housing would be cool with a non-student with an infant dependent squatting on their property. Commenter 2. Not the asshole. At all. Wow. What an ask. I cannot imagine your roommate going for that arrangement, laughing out loud. She got upset and said I was being selfish. On the contrary, she is selfishly asking you and your roommate to 100% disrupt your living situation to accommodate her. Pot meat kettle. Now my parents are also pressuring me to just let her stay for a little while. Nope. Is a ludicrous suggestion. Maybe tell your parents to go on vacation for a little while and give her some breathing room. Not the asshole. Stand your ground or become her first go-to whenever she wants to take advantage. Not that your roommate would allow her, laughing out loud. On the contrary, she is selfishly asking you and your roommate to 100% disrupt your living situation to accommodate her. Not just that, it is going to disrupt other people's lives in the dorm. Crying babies can be heard from neighbors in apartments, even with rooms in between them and the baby. Plus, the only place for the baby to play is going to be in the common rooms where people watch television. Students are not going to be thrilled with being asked to not have the television loud and playing things a baby should not be exposed to, whether it is shows or video games. There's going to be a lot of noise disturbance for the baby, as dorms have a lot of slamming doors and loud music, even parties. There is no way they can hide the baby from people, or the sister, for that matter. Commenter 3. Not the asshole, and your college/university might actually have something to say about you moving non-enrolled people into your dorm room. There's probably also some liability for having minors in the dorm. Unless you want to risk getting kicked out for housing people, you should not stick to your guns. Also, she is 26 and has a home. She should evaluate her life choices before she burdens you with them. Yes, the university will definitely have a policy on how many consecutive nights a guest can stay. Mine was 2 nights, so people could stay a full weekend. Commenter 4. Not the asshole. What a wildly irrational request. A shared college dorm room is no place for a newborn. It is not selfish to tell her no. You have a roommate to consider, and you're both there to study, so a baby would make that difficult. Beyond that, dorm rooms are generally cramped as it is. To add another adult, and a baby would leave practically no room. And I'm not sure if she has never been in a dorm room before. but they generally are not exactly quiet spaces. I would honestly be tempted to tell her you talk to the school, and they will not allow it. It sucks that she is struggling, but that does not obligate you to be her housing solution. Hell, I had a nice dorm room in college because there was room to separate the twin beds instead of having to set them up bunk style. I cannot imagine where a third person and a baby would have fit. Commenter 5. Not the asshole, but this cannot be real. Is she serious? Firstly, the college/university would presumably never allow an infant to take up residency in a dorm. It is not set up for parents, and it is a liability nightmare. Second, she honestly thinks a dorm room with 3 adults and 1 baby in a building full of teens and early 20s cohabitating will be quieter than a house full of boomers? Third, your parents are really willing to potentially sabotage your education to pacify your sister. There's no way this is real, or if it is, she is embellishing because there is not a chance in hell her parents thought for a minute a college dorm room is a suitable place for an infant. Next story. Would I be the asshole for not fully engaging with my son's fiance's family traditions? Hi everyone. My son is getting married to a Hindu woman. We are a non-religious family, so he has opted to embrace the traditions of his partner and her family. As such, the wedding will be a full-on traditional Hindu wedding. I have been asked to wear the traditional clothing of their tradition. It includes a skirt-type piece that I do not like. I told my son I am not comfortable wearing that since it is not my culture. Plus, in my country, I want to dress like my countrymen. But it seems there is a hard stop on this since, to participate in the religious ceremony, I need to wear it. I have told them I am more comfortable wearing something with trousers that is not the tradition. They have accepted that I can wear the trousers, but my son is being stubborn and wants me to wear the real traditional clothing. My wife is very excited to be wearing the traditional clothing, as are my daughters. I'm just not keen. Am I the asshole for not wanting to wear Hindu clothing to my son's Hindu wedding? Edit. To clear up some confusion, I am male, 60 years old, and this is the type of clothes I am being asked to wear. The reason I need to wear it, I believe, is because I will be on the stage participating in the actual ceremony. Commenter 1. You would be the asshole if you attend the ceremony and do not conform to the dress code. This would be true for any wedding. You are the father of the groom, but you are acting like the sullen teenage younger brother who does not want to wear a suit. It is a religious ceremony. You do not have to be part of it if you are not comfortable with it. But it is incredibly rude to insist on attending and refusing to follow the wishes of the bride and groom. I am pretty sure the reason that your son is the one insisting is that your future in-laws do not want to be too demanding, so he has to stick up for his bride. I attended a Catholic wedding 2 weeks ago. I am Protestant. They, of course, do a whole mass, including communion. I sang the responses. I stood when others stood, and I sat when they said sit or kneel. They quite clearly indicated that non-Catholics were not to take communion, so I did not. As a guest at their religious ceremony, I did what they wanted a non-Catholic to do. You would do well to remember that the wedding is not about you. It is about being supportive of the bride and groom. It is not like you are being asked to wear a kilt with nothing underneath. Yes, there is a skirt piece or a knee-length dress, but it is worn over pants. What you're not understanding is you will stick out if you do not wear the traditional clothing, much more than if you dress like everyone else, just like the sullen teenager who is wearing jeans and a polo to a formal wedding. Commenter 2. Gently, you are the asshole. You are letting some kind of weird toxic masculinity get in the way of celebrating a moment with your child. If you proceed with wearing something different than everyone else because you do not want to wear a skirt-type piece that you do not like, you will be ostracizing yourself. You will be the one standing out because of your own insecurities. Just wear the traditional garb for a few hours. I promise you will be fine, and no one will make fun of you. I was totally on board with the original poster at first, because I thought he objected to participating in a religious ceremony that conflicted with his beliefs. Turns out he is just too uptight to wear a skirt. Commenter 3. Oh, too manly to wear a dhoti. Dude, get a grip. It is not a freaking skirt, and you're not going to become transgender just for wearing it. Jesus fucking Christ. But what if he feels pretty when the dhoti goes twirly twirly? Oh dear God, you have met my dad, have you not? Various skirt and dress-like garments. and he prances about like the fat white man he is. It is ridiculous, but fun. The look of glee on my brand spanking new husband's face as he discovered during our first dance that kilts flare when the wearer spins still gives me joy nearly 9 years later. Thanks for reminding me, neighbor. Hope you find a nice, crisp, forgotten 20 in your coat. Commenter 4. Yes, you would be the asshole if you do not fully engage with the traditions your son and his fiancée have chosen to embrace for their wedding. This is not your wedding or birthday or celebration of any kind. So unless the garment they're asking you to wear is physically uncomfortable and causing pain or far more expensive than what you can afford, then you should just embrace it. They have accepted that I can wear the trousers, but my son is being stubborn and wants me to wear the real traditional clothing. His fiancée and her family are just trying to be polite. They do not want to cause a scene, and they certainly do not want you to cause one at the wedding. She is being overly accommodating for your masculine fragility, not because it is actually okay to go against their wishes for tradition. Additionally, your future daughter-in-law, of course, wants to make a good impression on you and does not want you to resent her for this simple request that you are currently being a child about. Your son is standing his ground because he knows how important this is, and unlike his fiancée, he knows that you will not stop loving him just for standing his ground. He is doing exactly what he should be, and you should apologize for insinuating that their clothing choices are not good enough. Lastly, you can wear pants under whatever skirt-type piece you like, but you should definitely be dressed in the traditional clothing on top. This is their wedding, and they will have proof forever in their wedding photos that you are a stubborn asshole if you do not go along with their request. You're the asshole. He is still wearing pants. He says a skirt, but if you look up any men's Hindu wedding clothing, it is just a long tunic with pants underneath and seems much more comfortable than a Western men's suit. It feels weirdly misogynistic in that he is afraid to wear anything perceived as feminine and skirt-like. Would this even be a question if the fiancé was Scottish and he had to wear a kilt, which is more like a skirt than a tunic? Commenter 5. I think most of these outfits would involve pants worn under a long shirt, but nothing that is actually a skirt. Ask your son, or even better, the bride's parents, to show you examples of what would be appropriate for you to wear. I think you will be pleasantly surprised that it is not as unusual as you may be thinking. Congratulations to your families. Next story. Am I the asshole for not doing an art commission I was not told about? Title sounds a little confusing. I was not sure how to best word it. Hopefully this all makes sense. I, female, 33 years old, do a lot of art in the needlework medium. Embroidery, cross-stitch, weaving, etc. I'm going to toot my own horn here. I'm very good at it. I have won first prize at a couple of our state fair competitions, and the one tapestry piece I had in a gallery sold for a good bit of money. A few years ago, I made a choice that I would no longer take commissions. The deadlines back and forth between clients, and all that jazz made me hate what was once a hobby I could do for hours, shutting my brain off. I will still make presents on occasion. My wife's best friend just had a baby, and I made a cross-stitch birth announcement for the nursery, for example. But anything outside of that is not happening. This past week, I got a message on my Instagram from my friend Mike's friend Abigail. Abigail said Mike recommended me for an embroidery she wanted done, and how soon could I get to the process. I told Abigail I was sorry, but I no longer take commissions, and Mike knew that already. Abigail was a little pissy, but Mike, oh my God. He texted me in a fury, saying he really buttered up my work to Abigail, and he was trying to date her, and I have fucked things up for him. I am sad that Mike is acting this way, but I also wonder that since Abigail was misled about me not doing commissions, should I just do it? My wife says absolutely not, and I 85% think she's right, but I just wanted the perspective of people who are not married to me. Laughing out loud. Commenter 1. Not the asshole. And your wife is 100% right. Mike made his own decision to mislead Abigail. He is responsible for that decision and for any fallout that might occur. He is 100% the asshole here. You do not need to change anything you're doing to suit him. The only thing you do need to do is enforce your boundaries better. He is trying to guilt you. Do not let him. He is texting the original poster in a fury instead of taking accountability. People like this always seem to have everyone and anyone to blame except themselves. Laughing out loud, He did not even tell the original poster that the request was incoming or any information at all. Neither Mike nor Abigail sound like much of a catch. No one needs people like this in their life. To be fair, Abigail had been deceived. She has the right to be a little pissed at the situation, which, from the sound of things, is what happened. Mike, on the other hand, yeah, fuck no, he's out of line. Commenter 2. Not the asshole. Your wife is right. Mike made a promise to Abigail without consulting you first. He knew you were no longer doing work on commission. He messed things up for himself. You had nothing to do with it. You are not obligated to make art for anyone. This is a hobby for you. You do not owe Abigail or Mike anything. Mike trying to get with Abigail by way of the original poster's art. Imagine having a hookup on custom embroidery being the make it or break it with a potential date. Commenter 3. If you tell someone who is looking for, say, new bed sheets that they should totally go to the local hospital because they have amazing sheets on all of their beds, and then the hospital tells the person that they do not sell sheets, is the hospital the asshole? Or were you? Not the asshole. Commenter 4. Not the asshole. As a knitter and hooker, crochet uses a hook. You're not obligated to do your hobby so someone else can get laid. As someone who crochets badly, I got confused why you put the explanation for hooker, then realized outside of crochet it has a more well-known meaning. Commenter 5. Not the asshole. I doubt the difference between Mike closing the deal or not with this woman hinges on your embroidery. If it does, that is not much of a foundation on which to build a relationship. Tell Mike to get a dog if he needs help picking up women. To be fair, if a guy I was just getting to know deliberately misled me and caused me an awkward interaction like this, I would take it as the red flag it rightfully is.